their bodies. They're all kinds of weird colors, and they walk on their hind feet like him, and they're babbling. The only place they have hair is on the top of their heads. And they see him and go, "Oh!" and run. Well, good evening. My name's Troy. I'll be your ranger for this night. I grew up out here in the Mountain West, originally from Utah. I've spent my life all over the western United States and spent some time living in Africa. So it's my 5th summer working at Curecanti as a seasonal park ranger. Most of my life I live as a college professor and do this in the summers. It's a great break from the grading of papers. So I get paid to hike and talk to people, so it's not bad at all. What you've been watching here, that is an hour on the lake compressed into 34 seconds. We actually have more water in the lake now than when I shot that in 2019. Although we had more water available in 2019 than we have this year. So how is it possible, do you think, I'm a college professor, I have to quiz you. How is it possible that in a year where we have less water to draw from, that we had a lower amount of water in the lake at the same time?
Government rules.
You're on the right track. So we run the recreation portion of it, we being the National Park Service. So if it's anything on the land around the lake or on the surface of the water, that's us. Bureau of Reclamation runs the dams, and they're the one who determine how water flows in and out. In 2019, we had 175% snowpack. This year, we had 135% snowpack. With 175% snowpack and a very warm spring, the Bureau of Reclamation basically just opened the dams and dumped hundreds of thousands of cubic feet of water downstream so the dams wouldn't overflow.
Mm-hmm. Where did it go?
What
did it go into?
It goes down, we're part of the Colorado River drainage. So it'll go from here, Gunnison River connects with Colorado River at Grand Junction. So it'd go to Powell and then Meade. Okay. And then by the time the Colorado River's done getting to Mexico, it's this sad little salty trickle. Yeah. There's not much left of it. Bureau of Reclamation actually claims that their goal with the water out of the Colorado River is to use every drop of it before it can possibly get to the Pacific Ocean. And most years they do that pretty well. Crazy.
Doesn't make the Mexicans
This year
very
we have
happy.
less snowpack, but we've had a very cool spring, and so it was slower melting out, and they didn't have to dump as much water downstream. They opened the floodgates at the Morrow Point Dam for a couple of days. My first summer here was open for 2 weeks. So big difference in any given year, but it's nice to have water because last year we didn't. We're at 35% capacity by the time I left last August. Ooh. We're now at 96% capacity. And they expect going into the winter will be close to full, which hasn't happened in a few years.
Close to what?
Full. Close to full. So, which is awesome. Lake Powell and Lake Meade that usually draw down from us have had huge amounts of water above them this year that fed in. I mean, the Markagant Plateau over in Utah, 260% snowpack. And that's the headwaters of the Virgin River, which goes down through Zion National Park, feeds Lake Meade. Tonight, look for a low around 55 degrees. Should be mostly clear. Yes?
Yep.
Some light breezes. Yes?
I won't.
Tomorrow, we're looking for a high in the low to mid 80s. Should be partly sunny, some clouds coming in, a slight chance of afternoon thunderstorms.
Oh.
Another country heard from. So, who likes stories?
Sure.
Why do you like stories?
Just love to lose yourself in
Okay,
tales,
good.
you know.
Lose yourself in it. Over here, why do you like stories? Raise your hands.
They're entertaining.
Entertaining.
You learn stuff.
Yeah, you
Learn things. Cool. Why do you like stories, young lady?
because some stories have words that make you learn stuff how to do that's hard, like washing dishes.
Oh, yeah. My mom didn't read me stories about washing dishes. Thank goodness.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised my mother didn't, actually.
My mom read me stories about dragons. Well, tonight I'm going to tell you some stories. My program's called Story Time. And I'm going to tell you stories about Ya-Go-Vitch. You all know Ya-Go-Vitch, right? You don't know Ya-Go-Vitch? Friend of Sinawava? You know Sinawava, right?
I'm thinking it's up.
Great creator of all. You don't know Sinawava? We got a lot of work to do tonight, my friends. A lot of work. So, well, if you don't know Ya-Go-Vitch, that's the Ute name for this character we're going to talk about tonight. You know, maybe you know him by his Aztec name. You know this guy, right? Portal? You know Portal, right? Oh. Maybe you know him like this. Ever see that around here?
No.
No? Well, I tell you what, if any of you do see that, please come find me. We'll either get super rich together or I will get you the help you need. My girlfriend is a nurse practitioner, psychologist, she can help you. Or maybe you've seen them like this.
No.
No?
Yeah.
These are all visions and thoughts of the people who are native to North America about this animal. The animal that the Utes called Ya-Go-Vitch, the Aztecs called Coyotl, and when the Spanish heard Coyotl when they invaded the Aztec Empire, they misheard it and said, oh, coyote. And thus, we'll be talking about coyotes this evening. You were right. Now, before we get going on this, I need you to do something for me. I'm going to show you a picture. And I want you to anthropomorphize this picture. It's a big word. What does anthropomorphize mean? What? Make it human, exactly. So I want you to describe it using adjectives you would associate with humans. I told you I'm a college professor. I can't help it. So,
Associate with Utes?
these guys
Humans.
right here,
Humans. Okay.
associate it with people, things. What do you think? Snuggly? Oh, okay. I wouldn't recommend snuggly though.
Smart.
Sneaky.
Cunning.
Intelligent.
Intelligent, cunning,
Strength.
strength, okay. Go ahead, just shout it out.
They have very sharp claws.
They do have very sharp claws, yes they do.
He's a
But we
dandy.
don't, we're looking for human traits.
Quick!
So, these guys, the terms that we use to describe him, are they generally positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative, okay. So I want you to hold on to that notion for a minute and think about the negative terminology we've used to describe this guy. So, next step I want to talk about is his name, right? We call him Coyote or Coyote. Ya-Go-Vitch is what the Ute called him. What's his official name? What do scientists call him?
Canis something or other.
Okay, good. Canis. Okay, we all remember that from junior high, right? Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, right? And we usually identify creatures by their genus and species. So Canis, genus. Let's talk about us for a second. What's our genus and species?
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens. Good. What does that mean?
Walking
How's your Latin?
upright or something. Oh,
In Latin, homo means man.
Man,
Sapiens means to
intelligent.
think. So we are thinking man, despite all evidence to the contrary. These guys are Canis, right? Our friends up there at the campsite who are jonesing for their humans, what's their genus? They are Canis familiaris. These guys are Canis latrans. Latrans is Latin for to bark. When Lewis and Clark left on their grand adventure from St. Louis, heading up the Missouri River, trying to find a water route to the Pacific, They record early in their journals about seeing these animals, they called them prairie wolves, and hearing all these dogs barking. And they wondered who lost all these dogs that were barking out there in the prairie. Then eventually they saw one barking, and like, interestingly, our friend Canis familiaris, the family dog, and Canis latrans are the only canids that routinely and regularly bark. The others are capable of it, but they don't necessarily do so. Usually, though, we think of coyotes doing this. So we will hear them howl. Coyote communication consists of three things: yips, barks, and howls. And the combination of those three things are consistent throughout all packs in some specific behaviors. People who study coyote communication have found that they have about 40 to 45 consistent things they do with those combinations of yips, barks, and howls that they know what they mean. But then individual packs have their own slang, and they connect other things that mean things just to that pack. So even though we may think of them as not being terribly intelligent, they do have their own sense of communication. It's okay, I promise. They won't get you. So, tonight we're going to talk about our friend the coyote, Canis latrans, or as the Ute called him, Ya-Go-Vitch. So who wants to hear a story? Yeah, we like stories?
Yeah.
Okay. The first story I'm going to tell you is the Ute creation myth. Sinawava is the great creator of all. And Sinawava went through the universe gathering material together because he wanted a place to kind of retire to, right? A place where he could just go and relax, put his feet up. So as he wandered through, he gathered up all this material and eventually compressed it into this large ball. And that ball is the earth. And after he'd put together the space, then he walked all over it. And he created all of the animals and the plants and everything here that we need to survive. The first animal he created was the wolf, to rule them all. And then he created the bear to be his strong and wise helpmeet. He made birds and fish and all the things. And along the way, he made Ya-Go-Vitch, the coyote. And Sinawava and Ya-Go-Vitch immediately hit it off. They were fast friends immediately. And Ya-Go-Vitch followed Sinawava wherever he went, and they had great adventures. And as they wandered around the earth, as Sinawava finished creating all the things, he went back to the ocean, sat down and thought about all that he had put together, and said, you know, there's something missing. Come on, Ya-Go-Vitch, let's go on an adventure. They get up, and they travel all over the earth, and from the plants they pull fibers of all different types. And once they have all the fiber, then Sinawava turns them into fabric, which he has woven together. And once he has enough fabric, he then sits down and stitches together very carefully a bag. And once he has this bag and he's satisfied with it, they continue walking around the earth. And everywhere they go, Sinawava is picking up sticks of different shapes and sizes and colors and filling the bag. And he fills it and fills it and fills it until it's full to bursting. Then he sits down, he sews the bag shut, and calls Ya-Go-Vitch over. He says, hey, Ya-Go-Vitch, I got a job for you. And Ya-Go-Vitch's like, heck yeah, boss, let's do this. They're down at the ocean. Sinawava says, I need you to take this bag and put it on your back. And remember, Ya-Go-Vitch, the pictures we saw, he walks on his hind legs, has thumbs, right? Stands up on his hind legs like, great, throws this bag on him like it's a backpack, and says, what do I do now? He says, I need you to take this all the way up to the high places in the mountains that I'll show you, and when you get there, open the bag and pour out the contents. But whatever you do, whatever happens, do not open the bag until you get to the high place in the mountains. Ya-Go-Vitch is like, got it, sir, let's go do this thing. And he takes off running, carrying the bag. He's running, I got a job, Sinawava, life is great, he trusts me, this is awesome. Anybody know how fast coyotes run?
45 miles an hour.
What?
35 miles per hour.
That's very good, 35 to 40 miles an hour. You're right on the money. Well done. Remember this, it's an important number. We'll come back to it again and again and again. He's running 35 to 40 miles an hour up, carrying this bag. Everything's great. He's having a good time. He's running fast, great endurance. About a third of the way up the mountain, though, something strange happens. While he's running, suddenly he gets thrown off balance. That's weird. Looking around, doesn't see anything he tripped over. So he starts running again. It happens again. And it keeps happening. It's happening more and more often. He's like, what is going on? So he stops and he takes the bag off and puts it on the ground and looks at it. Bag's twitching. Moving and shifting, changing position. What's in the bag?
Sticks.
Sticks! Do sticks move?
Yes.
You've seen sticks move? You got weird sticks in your yard, my friend. So he's thinking sticks don't move. What is going on here? He's sitting there watching this bag and it twitches and roils and shifts and moves. What's Sinawawa tell him to do?
Not open it.
Don't open the bag! You are Ya-Go-Vitch. You got a bag full of sticks that's twitching. What are you going to do?
Right.
What?
Don't open it.
No integrity?
Don't open it.
Don't open it?
Why?
Okay, let's. Who's going to open it? Raise your hand. Oh, okay.
She's gonna open
One of the things we said about Ya-Go-Vitch, the Kadi, was that he was
it. And
curious.
she's gonna open
Yep.
Right? So what do you think Ya-Go-Vitch did? Did he open it?
Yeah.
Did.
Oh no, he did not.
Really?
He did what the boss said. He's like, well, this is weird. But Sinawawa told me, no matter what I do, don't open the bag till I get to the place that I was told to go. So he picks the bag up, puts it on his back, and moves more slowly so he doesn't get thrown off balance. And he keeps going. He's like, yeah, okay. Hope Sinawawa knows what he's doing. It's really bizarre. About 2/3 of the way up the mountain, something else happens. How big are Ya-Go-Vitch's ears? They're big, right? And they hear really well. And he starts to hear sounds coming out of the bag that aren't just sticks moving. It sounds like speech. But they're speaking words he doesn't know. And he's never heard words he doesn't know before. Ever. He stops again, listens, watches the bag twitch and move. You're Ya-Go-Vitch again. You have a directive, a job. Take this to the mountain, don't open it. But now you have a bag full of sticks that is moving of its own accord and talking in weird languages. What are you going to do? I heard it, open it.
Don't open it.
Don't open it. Oh, okay. I like your integrity, young sir. You should pass that on to others.
Don't open it.
So, Ya-Go-Vitch is a little too curious, though. And he says, well, I was told not to open it. I wasn't told not to look inside it. Right? And so he thinks to himself, if I just pop one stitch, I can look inside and see what's going on and make sure something hasn't gone terribly wrong. How full was the bag?
Very well.
Full to bursting, right? Well, he doesn't think about this. He takes out his stone knife, cuts one thread, tries to look in, and bam, all the stitching tears, and it pops open, and out come running these weird things. They don't have fur on their bodies. They're all kinds of weird colors, and they walk on their hind feet like him, and they're babbling. The only place they have hair is on the top of their heads. And they see him and go, oh! And run. And he's like, oh, I've got a problem now. And so he starts chasing them, which makes them only want to run more. He grabs as many of them as he can, shoves them back into the bag. When he goes to get more run out. And he realizes very quickly, this is a zero-sum game. I am not going to get all this back in the bag. So he makes a quick decision. He runs back to the bag and grabs it and holds it shut so nothing else can get out. He picks the bag up and he shakes it. There's still a little bit left inside. And then he goes the rest of the way to the top of the mountains, where we're at now. And when he gets there, he opens the bag. And out come the Ute people. And the Utes speak his language, and he knows that they're what Sinawawa wanted to come out of the bag in the first place. not the things that he let out too soon. And because they recognize him and know him, he stays with them. And he teaches them all about this place. Because remember, he'd been all over the world with Sinawava and watched him create all the things. And he knew what they could eat and what they couldn't. And the things that they could do with boats and all the stuff they needed to survive. And after he'd spent time with the people and taught them what they thought they needed to know, now he's got to go back to the boss. How fast do you think he went back to the ocean? Slow, exactly. He wandered all over the place. Hey, Bear, how you doing, dude? Got any great stories? Oh, look, Robin, buddy, how's flying doing for you? Oh, Frog, dude, talk to me, man. Takes his long time going back. When he gets there, Sinawava is waiting. And Sinawava treats him as an old friend. Ya-Go-Vitch, my friend, you've done the thing I asked you to, right? How'd the thing go? What'd Ya-Go-Vitch say? Great, boss! All went well. I delivered the ute up there. I taught them everything I thought they needed to know, and I've come back. Problem is, Sinawava is the great creator of all, knows everything. He drops his head and shakes it. Looks back at Ya-Go-Vitch and says, I gave you 2 tests and you failed them both. The first test was the test of obedience. I told you to do a specific thing, and you didn't do what I asked. And because you opened the bag too soon, you have done a terrible thing. By letting them out before they had finished turning into the ute, the people, you have released the greatest enemy that the people will ever have. And everywhere they go, and every time they encounter these people who are let out of the bag too soon, they will hunt them, and they will kill them, and they will steal from them. Which is not at all what I wanted to happen. I wanted a world of harmony. The second test I gave you was honesty. And you lied to me. And because you failed both tests, I must now punish you. What do you think his punishment was? Forevermore, he had to walk on all 4s. Lost his thumbs, couldn't do all the cool things he could do before. And that, my friends, is the Ute creation myth. Pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
So, let's try this experiment again. Anthropomorphize the animal for me now. What words would you use to describe him now?
Hungry.
Hungry, okay.
Sneaky.
Sneaky.
On all 4s.
What?
Walking on all 4s.
Walking on all 4s. What?
They're cozy.
Cozy.
Looking happy.
Happy. Ooh. Are we changing the words we're using to describe? We still said sneaky.
Still the same.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Ute would describe Ya-Go-Vitch in the same way that we did at the first, with negative terms?
Probably not.
No, I mean, without him, they wouldn't be here at all. I mean, he did screw up and create all their enemies. That's us, by the way. In the Ute language, when they describe themselves, their word for themselves means we alone are people. They're not the only tribal group in the world to say that. Many tribal groups around the world believe that we alone, in the way we are people, the rest of you aren't. Let's go back to scientific nomenclature. We said that we are Homo sapiens, right? Scientists now call us Homo sapiens sapiens because early examinations in trying to give us a type said things like Homo sapiens africanus, Homo sapiens European, Homo sapiens americanus. But as we've advanced in our understanding of DNA, scientists now say, let's clear this up. Doesn't matter what the color of our skin, what continent we come from, we are Homo sapiens sapiens. We are all one. Sorry, Ute legend. But it is an interesting thing to consider when we look at how we are described. And the coyote went on a chase one night. begged to the moon for to give him light. He had many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. Many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh. He ran till he came to a great big pen. The ducks and the geese were kept therein. Said a couple of you are gonna grease on my chin before I leave this town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. Couple of you are gonna grease on my chin before I leave this town, oh. He grabbed a gray goose by the neck, flung a duck across his back, and he didn't mind all that quack, quack, quack. The legs are dangling down, oh, down, oh, down, oh. Didn't mind all that quack, quack, quack. The legs are dangling down, oh. Well, Mother Flipper Flopper jumped out of bed. Out of the window she popped ahead, crying, John, John, the gray goose is gone. And Coyote is out on the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. John, John, the gray goose is gone, and Coyote is out on the town, oh. He ran till he came to his own den. There were the little ones, 8, 9, 10, crying, Daddy, Daddy, go back again, 'cause it must be a mighty fine town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. Daddy, Daddy, go back again, 'cause it must be a mighty fine town, oh. Coyote and his wife, without any strife, they cut up that goose with a carving knife, and they never had such a supper in their life. And the little ones chewed on the bones, oh, bones, oh, bones, oh. Never had such a supper in their life, and the little ones chewed on the bones, oh.